Ever wondered how a tiny mosquito can cause a deadly disease like malaria? This is a question that has puzzled researchers for centuries. The answer lies in a microorganism known as plasmodium. This single-celled parasite is the cause of malaria, a disease that affects millions of people worldwide every year. Malaria is more than just fever and chills. It can lead to severe illness and death if left untreated. The World Health Organization estimates that nearly half the world's population is at risk of malaria. Now that's a staggering figure. And the most fascinating, or perhaps terrifying aspect is how this disease is spread. It's not a direct person-to-person transmission, but rather through the bite of a female Anopheles mosquito. But how does this happen? How does a mosquito bite lead to a disease that has such a significant impact on global health? To understand how this happens, we need to delve into the life cycle of the plasmodium parasite. The life cycle of plasmodium begins with a bite from an infected female Anopheles mosquito. This isn't just any mosquito, but a crafty carrier of the plasmodium parasite, the main culprit behind the dreaded disease we know as malaria. When this mosquito sinks its proboscis into a human, it's not just after a meal. It's also delivering a dangerous payload. As the mosquito feeds, it injects sporozoites, a microscopic stage of the plasmodium parasite, into the human bloodstream. These sporozoites are like tiny invaders, ready to conquer new territory. Now, you might be wondering, where do these sporozoites go after they've been injected into the bloodstream? The answer is they're off to the liver. Yes, these little invaders have a destination in mind, and it's one of the largest organs in your body. Once in the liver, the sporozoites find their targets, the hepatocytes. These are the cells that make up the majority of your liver tissue. You can think of hepatocytes as the factories of the liver, carrying out hundreds of essential functions. But these factories are about to be hijacked. The sporozoites invade the hepatocytes, turning them into unwitting hosts. Inside the hepatocytes, the sporozoites undergo a transformation. They initiate a process of asexual reproduction, resulting in the formation of thousands of merozoites. These merozoites are the next stage in the plasmodium life cycle. They're like the upgraded version of the sporozoites, ready to continue the invasion. But we'll get to that in the next scene. For now, let's take a moment to appreciate the cunning strategy of the plasmodium parasite. It uses the mosquito as a vehicle to enter the human body, then hijacks the liver cells to reproduce and prepare for the next stage of its life cycle. It's a master manipulator, turning our own bodies against us. But that's just the beginning. The plasmodium has more tricks up its sleeve. Stay tuned to find out what happens next in this microscopic war within our bodies. Inside the liver cells, the sporozoites undergo a process of asexual reproduction. This stage of the plasmodium life cycle is known as the liver or exoerythrocytic stage, and it's where the real mischief begins. Imagine the sporozoite as a secret agent, armed with a mission to infiltrate the liver cells, also known as hepatocytes. With a stealthy entry, it finds a comfortable spot within the hepatocyte, and this is where it begins to replicate, creating more of its kind. This process of multiplication is asexual, meaning the sporozoite doesn't need a partner to reproduce. Instead, it divides itself to create daughter cells, known as merozoites. Now, you might be wondering, why the liver? Why not any other organ? Well, the liver is a perfect hideout. It's a bustling organ with many functions, and it's easy for the sporozoites to blend in without raising alarm. Plus, it provides a nourishing environment for the sporozoites to grow and multiply. As the sporozoite multiplies, the hepatocyte starts to swell, packed full with merozoites. But the merozoites are not content with staying put. They're ambitious, ready to spread and conquer more territory, so they plot an escape. And so the once hospitable hepatocyte, now a crowded home, can't hold them any longer and ruptures. This dramatic exit releases the merozoites, now in their thousands, into the bloodstream. Can you imagine that? Thousands of merozoites, each capable of infecting a new cell, now free to roam the body. That's the end of the liver stage. But it's not the end of our story. The merozoites have bigger plans. They're on a mission to invade another type of cell, one that's essential for carrying oxygen throughout your body. Yes, you've guessed it right. The next target of these merozoites are your red blood cells. Now these merozoites are ready for their next target, red blood cells. The merozoites now invade red blood cells, setting the stage for the next part of their life cycle. This is known as the erythrocytic, or blood stage, and it's a crucial step in the life of the plasmodium parasite. Imagine the merozoites as tiny invaders, each one seeking out a red blood cell to make its home. Once inside, they set about multiplying asexually, transforming the cell into a bustling factory for creating more of their kind. This multiplication process is akin to a well-oiled assembly line, with each merozoite producing tens of thousands of offspring in a relatively short span of time. But the life of a red blood cell is finite, and the pressure of hosting so many new merozoites eventually becomes too much. Like an overfilled balloon, the cell bursts, releasing the merozoites back into the bloodstream. These newly freed merozoites then seek out fresh red blood cells to invade, repeating the cycle all over again. However, not all merozoites are destined to repeat this cycle of invasion and multiplication. Some of them embark on a different journey, transforming into male and female gametocytes. These gametocytes are the plasmodium's version of sperm and eggs, and they play a vital role in the parasite's life cycle. Unlike the merozoites, the gametocytes don't multiply within the red blood cells. Instead, they float around in the bloodstream, waiting for a chance to continue their journey. That chance comes when a mosquito bites an infected person, taking up the gametocytes along with its blood meal. The life of a plasmodium parasite is a complex dance of invasion, multiplication, and transformation. It's a cycle that has evolved over millions of years, and it's one that continues to cause suffering in millions of people around the world today. Understanding this cycle is not just a matter of scientific curiosity, it's a crucial step towards finding new ways to prevent and control malaria. These gametocytes are the key to the next stage of the plasmodium life cycle. When another mosquito feeds on the infected human, it ingests these gametocytes. Now the story takes a fascinating turn within the mosquito's gut. The ingested gametocytes, the sleeping giants of the plasmodium world, awaken and mature into full-fledged gametes. These are the male and female forms of the parasite. This is where the dance of life begins. The male and female gametes meet and merge in a process known as fertilization. It's a microscopic love story, but the result is far from romantic. The union of these gametes results in the formation of zygotes, the first step towards a new generation of parasites. The zygotes, however, are not content to just sit around. They transform into dynamic structures known as ookinets. These ookinets are on a mission. They penetrate the mid-gut wall of the mosquito, a barrier between the gut and the mosquito's body. This is not an easy task, but the ookinets are well equipped for the job. Once they breach the mid-gut wall, they form structures called oocysts. These oocysts are like miniature factories, dedicated to the production of the next generation of parasites. They are the nurturing cradles where sporozoites, the infective form of the parasite, are produced. Within the safe confines of the oocysts, the sporozoites multiply and mature, preparing for their next big move. Once ready, they embark on a journey towards the mosquito's salivary glands. This migration is crucial as it positions the sporozoites at the perfect launchpad for their next attack. Finally, these oocysts produce sporozoites, completing the cycle. Now, armed with thousands of sporozoites, the mosquito is ready to bite again. With each bite, it has the potential to inject these sporozoites into a new human host, perpetuating the cycle of malaria. Thus, the mosquito becomes not just a carrier, but a crucial part of the life cycle of the plasmodium, the parasite that causes malaria. So that's the journey of plasmodium, from mosquito to human and back to mosquito. This tiny parasite embarks on an intricate journey, traversing between two hosts, transforming and multiplying. It starts with a bite from an infected mosquito, and the sporozoites make their way into the human bloodstream. They then invade the liver cells, replicating themselves into merozoites. These merozoites burst forth into the bloodstream, infecting red blood cells and continuing their cycle of replication. Some of these merozoites develop into gametocytes, which are then taken up by another mosquito during a blood meal. Inside the mosquito, they mature into gametes, fertilize, and form zygotes, which then develop into new sporozoites. These sporozoites are ready to start the cycle anew, infecting other humans and spreading the disease of malaria. Understanding this complex life cycle is key in developing effective strategies for preventing and controlling malaria. Remember, knowledge is power, and understanding the enemy is the first step in defeating it. Stay safe and informed.